The ocean was calm that afternoon. Not angry, not violent, just endless. The sky above Florida was clear, the kind of sky pilots trust. And that's what makes this story so disturbing. Because when Flight 19 disappeared, there was no storm to blame, no warning, no explosion, just silence. 5 military aircraft, 14 trained men, gone, and the ocean never gave them back. December 5th, 1945, Fort Lauderdale Naval Air Station. The Second World War had ended only 4 months earlier. America was tired but relieved. Pilots who once flew through gunfire were now flying training routes, simple missions, familiar skies. This was supposed to be one of those days. No danger, no drama, just routine. On the runway, 5 TBM Avenger aircraft waited quietly. Big, heavy, reliable. These planes had survived war. Each cockpit filled with instruments, altimeters, fuel gauges, compasses. Everything where it should be. Everything except what would happen next. At 2:10 p.m., engines roared to life. Propellers sliced through warm air. One by one, the planes rolled forward. Flight 19 lifted off the ground. From below, it looked almost beautiful. 5 dark shapes rising together, heading east over the Atlantic. No one watching from the base felt worried. Why would they? This flight had been done hundreds of times before. The mission was called Navigation Problem Number 1, a triangle. Fly east for about 120 miles, turn north, then return west back to Florida. 3 hours, then home. The instructor leading the group was Lieutenant Charles Taylor, an experienced pilot, a war veteran, a man trusted with lives. 14 men trusted him that afternoon, and for the first hour, everything went exactly as planned. Inside the cockpits, radios crackled softly, altitude checks, course confirmations. Below them, the ocean stretched endlessly, calm, blue, indifferent. The sun moved slowly across the sky. Time passed. Then, something small went wrong. So small that no one panicked. At around 3:45 p.m., the radio came alive. "I don't know where we are." It was Lieutenant Taylor's voice, not loud, not frightened, just uncertain. At first, no one reacted.
Pilots get confused sometimes. Cloud cover, glare, instrument errors, normal. But then he spoke again. "We seem to be off course." The control tower asked for clarification. Taylor replied that he believed they were over the Florida Keys, but that was impossible. The Keys were behind them. Unknown to the pilots, Flight 19 had drifted east, farther than anyone realized, toward open ocean. Inside the cockpits, compasses began disagreeing. North didn't feel right. One compass pointed one way, another pointed somewhere else. The ocean below looked strange. No landmarks, no coast, just water. Endless water. A younger pilot's voice cut in. "If we just fly west, we should hit land." It was logical, simple. But Taylor hesitated. If they were truly over the Keys, flying west would send them deeper into the Gulf of Mexico. One wrong decision now could make everything worse. The sun was dropping. Fuel gauges were no longer full, and the sky was slowly changing color. Back at the base, radio operators leaned closer to their equipment. Something about the transmission didn't feel right. Not panic, but confusion. And confusion in aviation is dangerous. At this point, Flight 19 could still be saved. Land was reachable, fuel remained, but time was slipping away. And soon, confusion would turn into fear. Radio static crackled. Lieutenant Taylor spoke again. "We are "We are not sure of our position." This time his voice was different, still controlled but strained. The control tower tried to guide him. They asked him to turn his planes west. Simple, direct. West meant land. But Taylor hesitated. In his mind, the map did not match what his eyes were seeing. He believed he was over the Florida Keys, and if that were true, west was the wrong direction. Another pilot broke in, younger, more confident. "Let's fly west. We'll hit land." A pause. Silence filled the radio. Then Taylor responded, "I'm not sure." That hesitation, that single moment of doubt, would define everything that followed. Inside one cockpit, a fuel gauge dipped lower. In another, a compass needle trembled. Pilots began cross-checking instruments. Nothing lined up. The ocean below was changing color. What had once been bright blue was now darker, deeper, almost black. Rain clouds were forming in the distance, not violent storms, but enough to block the sun, enough to steal orientation.
Back on the ground, Navy radio operators exchanged looks. This was no longer a routine training flight. They could hear it. The uncertainty, the overlap of voices, pilots talking over each other, trying to agree, trying not to panic. Taylor spoke again. "Everything looks strange, even the ocean." That sentence froze the room. Pilots know the ocean. They train over it. They trust it. For a man like Taylor to say it looked strange meant something was deeply wrong. As minutes passed, fuel became the enemy. Every TBM Avenger had a limit, and that limit was approaching. One pilot warned, "My fuel is getting low." Another followed, then another. The radio grew crowded, voices sharper now, urgent, still controlled, but no longer calm. The sun touched the horizon, dusk arrived, and with it, fear. Because once darkness fell, navigation without landmarks would be almost impossible. Taylor made a decision. "We'll fly north, then west." It was a compromise, a gamble. 5 planes adjusted course together. Engines roared louder as they pushed forward. The ocean swallowed the last light of day. Rain began falling, light at first, then heavier. Wipers moved back and forth. Visibility dropped. Inside the cockpits, tension tightened like a wire. Every second mattered. Every decision echoed. Back at the base, the Navy prepared rescue plans. They still believed the planes were airborne, still believed contact could be restored, still believed this could end normally. But something had changed. The tone, the silence between transmissions. Then, a message came through. Broken, faint, but clear enough. "We are completely lost." No one spoke in the control room, because those 4 words meant only one thing. Flight 19 was no longer navigating. They were surviving. Fuel warnings sounded inside the planes. Low fuel lights, alarms. Pilots reported numbers. 10 gallons, 8, less. Taylor's voice returned one last time, steady, resolved. "All planes close up tight." The order was clear. Stay together. No one breaks formation. Then the final instruction. When the first plane drops below 10 gallons, we all go down together. That was the last coordinated message. After that, voices faded. Static swallowed words. One by one, signals disappeared. And then, nothing. No final scream, no explosion, no goodbye. Just empty airwaves. At 7:04 p.m., Flight 19 was officially lost.
14 men, 5 aircraft, gone into the dark Atlantic. But the story was not over yet, because what happened next made everything even more terrifying. The Navy moved fast, very fast, because planes don't just disappear. Not 5 of them. Not at once. Within minutes, emergency procedures were activated. Maps were spread across tables. Coordinates were debated. Last known positions were marked with grease pencils. Every calculation led to the same conclusion. Flight 19 was out there, but no one knew where. As night deepened, search orders were given. Ships left port. Spotlights cut across dark water. Aircraft prepared for launch. This would become one of the largest air-sea searches in U.S. Navy history. Hundreds of men, thousands of square miles. One goal: find Flight 19. At 7:27 p.m., a rescue aircraft took off. A PBM-5 Mariner flying boat. It was big, powerful, designed for long-range rescue missions. On board were 13 crew members. Their job was simple: search the ocean, find survivors, bring them home. The Mariner disappeared into the night. For a while, everything was normal. Radio check-ins, course updates. Then, something strange happened. A nearby ship reported seeing a sudden flash in the sky. Orange, bright, then darkness. Seconds later, the smell of burning fuel drifted across the water. The ship's crew froze, because everyone knew one thing. The PBM Mariner was nicknamed the Flying Gas Tank. Highly flammable. If it exploded, there would be nothing left. The Navy called the rescue plane. No answer. They tried again. Still nothing. 13 more men were gone. In a single night, 27 people vanished. 2 aircraft groups. No distress calls, no wreckage, nothing. By morning, the search intensified. Sunlight revealed endless ocean, calm again, as if nothing had happened. Ships moved in patterns, planes flew grid lines, hour after hour, day after day. They searched over 300,000 square miles of ocean. That's larger than the state of Texas. And still, nothing. No floating debris, no oil slicks, no life vests, not a single confirmed piece of Flight 19. Commanders grew uneasy, because crashes leave traces, even in deep water. But here, the ocean had erased everything. Newspapers picked up the story. Headlines grew darker. Navy planes vanished without a trace. Rumors spread. Speculation followed. People whispered words that had barely been known before. A name, a place. The Bermuda Triangle. Until then, it was just a vague idea, a strange region sailors talked about. But Flight 19 gave it a face and a fear. As days passed, the official explanation was simple. Navigation error, bad weather, fuel exhaustion. Reasonable, logical. But there was a problem. The weather reports didn't fully support it. The sea had been calm, the sky mostly clear. So people asked, how do 5 planes just vanish? Families waited. Mothers, wives, children. They stared at doors that never opened. The NAV eventually made the announcement. Flight 19 was declared lost at sea. No bodies recovered, no closure.
But the mystery did not sink with the planes. It stayed alive. Because unanswered questions have weight, and this one was heavy. The U.S. Navy released its first official report. It blamed navigation error. According to them, Lieutenant Charles Taylor became disoriented. He mistook the Bahamas for the Florida Keys. He led his squadron in the wrong direction. Fuel ran out. The planes went down. Case closed. But the truth was, it wasn't that simple. Because Charles Taylor was not inexperienced. He had logged thousands of flight hours. He had flown combat missions. He knew how to read the ocean. And yet, that day, he said something chilling. Even the ocean doesn't look the way it should. That wasn't panic.
that was confusion so deep it shook a trained mind. Then there were the compasses. Multiple pilots reported failures, needles spinning, directions disagreeing. Individually, that can happen, but 5 planes at once? Unlikely. Weather was blamed next, but official logs showed no major storm, no hurricane, no violent system, just scattered clouds, enough to confuse, but not enough to erase 5 aircraft. And then there was the rescue plane, the PBM Mariner. Its disappearance was quietly explained as an explosion due to fuel vapor, a known issue. But no wreckage was ever found, no debris field, nothing to confirm it. So the questions remained. Why was nothing recovered? Why were the last transmissions so distorted? Why did experienced pilots lose orientation so completely? That's when the story crossed a line, from aviation mystery into legend. People began talking about a region of the Atlantic, a triangle formed between Florida, Bermuda, and Puerto Rico. They said compasses behaved strangely there, that ships vanished, that planes were swallowed. The Bermuda Triangle. Flight 19 became its most famous case. Scientists pushed back. They said there was no mysterious force, no magnetic anomaly strong enough, no evidence of anything supernatural. And they were right. But here's the uncomfortable truth. Even without the paranormal, Flight 19 is still disturbing. Because human error doesn't explain everything. Weather doesn't explain everything, and the ocean doesn't give back what it takes. Over the years, small clues surfaced. A training manual was found to be flawed. Maps used during the mission had inaccuracies. Taylor himself had gotten lost once before, years earlier. Not often, but once. So maybe this wasn't a mystery of monsters. Maybe it was a chain. One small mistake, then another, then hesitation, then darkness, then water. 5 planes running low on fuel, night falling, rain reducing visibility, men trusting a leader who trusted his instruments until they stopped making sense. The ocean doesn't need secrets, it only needs time. Imagine it, engines coughing, fuel nearly gone, 5 planes flying close together in darkness, no land, no stars, just waves below. Lieutenant Taylor knew the truth. This was the end. He gave one last order: stay together. If one goes down, they all
do. Not out of fear, but loyalty. One by one, engines would have fallen silent, planes hitting water at speed, the ocean closing over them. No witnesses, no cameras, only night. 14 men disappeared that evening. Not heroes in battle, not victims of war, just pilots doing their job and trusting the sky. Today, Flight 19 still rests somewhere beneath the Atlantic, buried under sand, under pressure, under time. No marker, no memorial in the water, only names on paper. Some mysteries are loud, explosions, fire, chaos. This one was quiet. No final scream, just fading radio waves. And maybe that's why it stays with us, because silence lets imagination speak, because unanswered questions don't die, they wait. The ocean is calm again. Planes fly overhead every day. Passengers look out their windows, never knowing what lies below. Flight 19 never came home, and perhaps it never will. Don't forget, Like and subscribe for more videos.